Hey everybody, welcome back to another Business of Trucking video. 2290 time is upon us again. It's time to file. You can begin filing now. And I suggest you file early this year, just with everything going on. I guess you never know how long it's going to take people to get to these things. Who knows? So I'm filing right away so that I can get my copy back in sufficient time. Now, I'm going to show you walk you through step by step how to do this for yourself. It's fairly simple. There's really no reason to hire somebody else to do it. Some of these permit companies, I've seen them, typical charges $75 to fill this out for you. And there's really no reason to pay that much. It's actually a very simple form, and you can do it yourself. As of right now, they're not taking any debit card or electronic checks until next year. I'm not sure why. So you have to fill the forms out, send them in by mail, and they will stamp it and send you a copy back. And that's the copy you need to provide to the DMV to get your license plate issued. In most states, in some states, they just look it up electronically. But in my state, you have to send the DMV a copy. Pardon my voice today, it's a little bit weak. My voice is a little bit hoarse. So I'll try to talk a little louder, and we'll get through this. So right now I'm just going to flip the computer screen here, and we'll fill out a sample one. It's the real form. It's the same one you send in. I'm just going to put some made-up information in there. And then when we have it all filled out, we're going to print it out, and I'll show you what to do with it. Okay, so here we're going to start right at the IRS website. You can see here, irs.gov. Go down here, click on Form 2290, Highway Vehicle Use Tax. And then if you want to print out some instructions before you start, I suggest you print out instructions and read them over, or just read them on the screen. We're right here, Tax Year 2020 Instructions for Form 2290. You click on that. If you print the instructions out, you can refer to them as you're filling out the form, if you'd like to. But we're just going to go back here, and we're going to just click on the form, Tax Year 2020. Form 2290. So we'll start up here. This is just some basic instructions here. They've suspended the ability for taxpayers to pay the tax due on Form 2290 using a credit card or debit card, so or electronic checks. So what you'll have to do is send it in the mail with a paper check. So then here it is again, this instructions in Spanish. You'll see some of these pages here intentionally left blank. Don't worry about that. Here, let me blow this up for us here. Alright, should be able to see that good. So, let's start here with our name. We're just going to do Bob's Trucking. Okay, and then over here, your employer ID number. We're just going to make something up. 11-1111111. Okay, now this is going to be the owner of the truck. Okay, if you're leased to a company, but the truck's all still in your name, your company may do this for you. If they're going to charge you, I'd ask, be sure. Otherwise, say, hey, can I just fill it out and get you a copy of it? Or if you're on a lease purchase, say you're on a lease purchase from Prime or whatever, that truck is probably still in Prime's name. And they're going to probably handle all this, and this 2290 is probably going to be filed in their name because the truck is probably titled in their name. So before you proceed with this, definitely look into that. See what your obligations are, if you have to do this or if they take care of all of it. Most cases, if you own the truck and you're just leased to a carrier, this will be in your name and you will provide them a copy. But just verify everything with your carrier. So here for address, we got 123 Main Street, city, state, town. All right, we'll just do Los Angeles. Then California. I don't know the zip code out there, but I know there's a TV show 90210, and that's somewhere out in California there. So we're all done with this section here. Alright, check if applicable. If this is an address change, this is an amended return. If you've submitted one and you screwed up and you need to change your taxable gross vehicle weight, or there's a mistake with a suspended vehicle, if you screwed up the VIN number, or if this is your final return and you no longer have taxable vehicles to report, like if you're going out of business or just took everything off the road or permanently or whatever. So we don't have none of that. We're just, for the purposes of this return, we're just going to assume we got one truck. We're just redoing a 2290 for 1 year. We don't have any suspended vehicles, things like that, but we'll touch on that when we get to it. Okay, so now we're here at figuring the tax. We kind of got to jump around on this form a little bit. They should have put this in order a little better. So the first question, was the vehicle reported on this return used on public highways during July of 2020? If yes, enter 2020-07. So that'd be 2020 and 07 for the month of July. If no, you go to the table 3. On the instructions, that's another reason to look at the instructions, and it'll say, you'll have a table on there that'll show you, like, if you didn't start until August, if this truck isn't going to be put on the road until August, your rate of tax gets reduced by $40 some or whatever. So then you're going to use that number. But first, before we can complete any more of this section here, we have to determine our tax. So we have to scroll down here to tax computation, right here. Okay, so we need to look at, this is going to be our categories here. So we have to figure out our weight. If we're 55,000 pounds, 55,000 to 56, okay, most of us over the road trucks here are going to be category V. Let me see if I can highlight there. Right there, category V, over 75,000 pounds. Now this is your total loaded capacity weight. So ours is 80,000 pounds. All right, and we are category A here, vehicles except for logging. We're not logging vehicles. So our tax is going to be $550. If you are a logging vehicle, then you go to category B right here. And you're going to be $412. But for us, right now it's $550. So, did we have a partial tax period? Is it a case where you're, not putting it on the road until after July or August, September? Then you go to that tax table on the instructions and you look it up. It'll say August this amount, September this amount. So then you would put that here. All right, your partial period tax. But we're doing the full year here. So we're going to go over here to number of vehicles and we're going to put in 1. So we have 1 vehicle. We're not a logging vehicle. We're just going to do vehicles except logging. Okay? And the amount of our tax is going to be $550. So let's type that in there. All right, so now we know our tax. Let's go back up to where we were. Remember, we just put this in here, 2020-07. So now, tax. Enter total from Form 2290, page 2, column 4, which is right here where we were just at. See? Page 2, column 4. All right? Here's our number. So we need to go back up here. Oops. Enter that number, 550. There's already a decimal point there. So put that in. Additional tax from increase in taxable gross weight. Okay, well that was from right here if we were doing an amended return and we had something to add in there. We don't. So we're just going to leave that blank. Total tax, that comes from adding this line to in line 3. So line 4, our total tax is going to be 550.00. Credits. We're not applying for any refunds of any vehicles we took off the road or anything. We're just going to do 0 there. So balance due is $550. Now if you do have you can get credits for partial years, like if you take a vehicle off the road or what have you. There's a section on here for that. Okay, there's next section here is if you're suspending a vehicle. Say you put a vehicle on the road, you intend to keep it on the road, but for some reason you end up selling it, or you crash it, or you take it off the road, turn it into an agricultural vehicle, something like that. See, you can read all these reasons right here for whatever reason, and you can declare suspension for that vehicle, which one then you would be eligible to file to get some of that money back. If it's temporary or permanent, whatever, you have to put the VIN number in here, things like that. We're not doing any of that. So then down here, third-party designee, do you want to allow them to discuss this return with anybody else, like your spouse, your accountant, your carrier, whoever, if you want to give them permission, and then their phone number, and then a PIN number here for that person. If you're filling this out for yourself, after you print it out, you need to sign right here, this section, and date it. Right here we can just type in our name, it'd be Bob Jones, and then a telephone number. Oops. 555-121-1212. How about that? Sounds like a good telephone number for a TV show. If you're having a paid preparer do this section is for them. They need to provide all their information. Alright, so down here, this is our tax computation page. Remember, we already did that. However, we need to add a total in here. It says add the number of vehicles in columns 3A and 3B, which should be right here. Alright. Enter the total here. This should be the same total of taxable vehicles shown on Schedule 1. So your total dollar amount goes here, and your total number of vehicles goes right here. Okay? And then if you have any vehicles that you're suspending, remember, put that here, your total number. And then we need to go down to the next page here. We need to once again enter our name. Our tax ID number here. Then right here, we need to do our address again. City and state. And zip code. Month of first use. Now this is going to be the same date as what we put up here. 2020-07. Whatever number you put up there also goes down here. And if you question that, see the instructions. Right here we need to put in our VIN number. So we're just going to make something up here. FVX XA, and this is important to get this right. You should all have no typos on this form. You don't want to create a mess with the government. And then here, the category, which, remember back up here, we were line V. We're category V, over 75,000 pounds. So right here, our category is V. And this is our VIN number. If you have more than one vehicle that you're filing in, you just go down the list here and keep adding them in. Okay, our total number of reported vehicles, just going to be 1. Number of vehicles on which tax is suspended, we don't have any. Our total number of vehicles, oops, wrong line there, is 1. Okay, so let's scroll down. Here's another blank page. This page is going to be identical to the last one. Let's fill this in quick. Once again, make sure you copy everything identically. Uh, 90210. Okay, there we go. Month of first use, once again, that's going to be 2020-07. Let's just verify that that's what we put up here in this last one. That is correct. Alright, and then our VIN number, once again, copy it identically. Alright, and then once again, our category is still category V. If you have a different category, make sure you go back to the table here and check what you filed on. Make sure you have the proper weight class. Okay, back down here, we just filled that out. Once again, we're going to have 1. We don't have any suspended vehicles. And then total number of taxable vehicles. Why does it keep doing that? Is also 1. Or 2 or 3, however many you have. Another blank page. Consent to disclosure of tax information. This is voluntary. I don't fill it out and send it in. You can if you want. This is just to allow them to share your information with everybody under the sun that you probably don't want to have it. We're just gonna type a name in here. If you want to do it, you gotta put your name there. Your tax ID number. Oops, skipped down on us. We're not ready to go there yet. Tax ID number. Alright, and then after you print it, you need to sign here, date here. Okay, here's our payment voucher. Make sure to fill this out properly. Employer ID number. This is your tax ID number once again. Alright, and then enter date as shown on line 1 of Form 2290. That's going to be the 2020-07 again if you put it on the road in July. Otherwise, this date will be different. Here our amount is $550. Oops. And 0 cents. We got to put our name in here. Stick around here because I need to show you what to do with these forms. 1, 2, 3. Whoops. Sorry, I'm not the best typer in the world. Main Street, Los Angeles, California, 90210. I think that's Beverly Hills. I think that TV show was with the 90210 zip code. Okay, I think we got everything. So, we're going to print this baby out, and I'll show you what to do with it. Okay, here's the printed out form. Page by page, I'll tell you what to do with it. This is that instructions page. You can throw that in the garbage. This is one of those pages that says intentionally left blank. That could go in the garbage. This is the first page here. You need to sign down here where it says sign here, okay, where you printed your name on the computer. So sign that one. Put that aside. You got, this is the tax computation table. You need to keep that one. And you got schedule of vehicles right here. You need to keep that one. Here's another one of those intentionally left blank pages. Throw that one in the garbage. Here's another schedule of vehicles. Need to keep that one. Another intentionally left blank, throw that one in the garbage. Here's that consent to disclosure. Send it if you want to. Throw it in the garbage if you don't. This is our payment voucher. This is the last page. So there's a line here. Cut on that line. See if I can do this without looking. The bottom half, keep that. Put that in the keep pile. The top half, take that. This is the pile I said throw in the garbage. throw it in the garbage. All right. Now, you need to. You don't get to see my check here, but you follow the instructions right here. It says make it out to the United States Treasury. Okay? Here's the mailing address right here. It says send $22.90 this voucher and payment to Internal Revenue Service, P.O. Box 932-500, Louisville, Kentucky 40293-2500. Write on your check your EIN number, which is your tax ID number that you used on the form. Also write on there Form 2290V. You could also write on there the year if you want to, 2020. At least write that much on your check. And you take all of these ones here that I said to keep, your voucher and your check, you put them in an envelope. Do not staple these papers together. Do not. They may throw it in the trash. I get pissed when you do that. You may need more than one stamp. This is several pages. I always put 2 on there just for insurance that it gets there with no problem. So here's your envelope. Sticker in the mail. Okay? Now, before you do that, make copies of all these ones you filled out for yourself and put them in your file so that you have a copy in case something happens to it. There. So that's really all you got to do. That's not so bad, is it? So don't pay somebody. I mean, I've seen these things, people charge up to $150 to fill out this form for you from some of these online agencies and stuff. Don't pay them. Once again, this is part of running your business. It takes you a whole 15 minutes and saves you a little bit of money. And then you know how to do it every year. And once you become familiar with these forms, you can, if you take a vehicle off the road, you can file for your own suspension and refund, or pay a partial year if you buy a truck in the middle of the year. However you want to do it. So thanks for watching. Give me that thumbs up and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.